Hey guys, so today I just wanted to make a follow-up video to the video I posted a couple of days ago. You guys saw it. It's like being a minority in a white institution, because I was really in in the thick of it, as I may say, when I made that video, and I really feel like it's a responsibility to kind of make a follow-up video. I was really feeling like emotional, and that's why I wanted to film that, because I know that I'm actually not alone in feeling those types of emotions, being me where I am. And I think a lot of the times we forget that we're not alone, and also that it's just kind of like it's like we live in a society that doesn't really promote us to talk about self-care too much or at all. And I really love that we're in like a time where this is becoming a more comfortable thing to speak about, because I feel like, how can we find solutions if we can't talk about it? So that's why I wanted to make that video. I felt I was in like a really sad place, and I wanted to share how I was feeling, because I thought it actually made me feel better. Like seriously, a couple hours of that video, I was in a completely different mood. But as humans are, we are constantly in a state of change. Nothing is permanent. It's all temporary feelings. So I wanted to make it while I was still like really feeling those emotions, and I'm really happy I did. So yeah, but this video is going to be talking about what you can do, like what you can do when you're feeling this way, when you're feeling isolated, you're feeling alone, you feel like you just feel like an outsider. I mean, most of the universities in America are predominantly white institutions. Unless you go to a historically black college, you are most likely attending a predominantly white institution. If you're a minority, you're a lot of the times the smaller end of the spectrum. So for me personally, I study the humanities, and it can be very taxing at times, and where I'm constantly talking about race and class, or I'm also studying politics and all these things. So it's like when I'm constantly discussing things that are linked to ethics, to morals, and it can be taxing at times. And I recognize that things for my peers just aren't the same as they are for me, simply because their level of empathy isn't on the same level as mine. We have different life experiences. We come from different places. We have different families, different familial structures. We've seen different things because of that. And at the end of the day, their experience in this world is completely different from mine. And when I'm discussing these topics in class with them, it can feel taxing on me, because it's a heavy burden or heavy weight, and I feel very passionate or connected to. And at times it's hard for me to understand how other people don't have those same intense feelings. And it comes back to, like I said, we come from different places. So I think that when I'm feeling that way, it definitely comes in waves. Like I said, I mean, your emotions aren't, like when you're sad, you don't feel sad forever. When you're happy, you don't feel happy forever. So it definitely comes in waves. So the first thing, whenever I'm feeling this way, and because I'm so passionate about human rights, animal rights, it comes pretty frequently, but I recognize that it comes from a beautiful place. It comes from the passion I have for bettering the world around me, and the connection I have to people, the environment, animals around me, that makes me feel that way. And acknowledging that makes me feel good, because I recognize that that's a beautiful thing, and I'm so happy that I'm such a passionate individual and I care so much. And caring shouldn't be considered a negative thing ever. Caring is so beautiful. I recognize that is the most beautiful emotion I could feel, is intense feelings. Like, we live to feel, and I'm always like, wow, how beautiful is it that I feel so strongly. And I go back and I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful for me, like to be myself. Just tell myself that, wow, Deij, you're so loving and you care so much, and that's why you're feeling this way. That really helps me. After recognizing that it's temporary. Other thing is talking to people who you feel like can understand you. So for me, because my friends aren't here, like I said, I'm in this little tiny school with an NYU, and I went from I'm typically the only person, or maybe there's 2 or 3, sometimes I'm the only person of color in my classes, even in New York, at NYU, New York, because my class size is so small. Like I said, I'm in the humanities, liberal arts, so all my classes are discussion based, very seminar style. So here it's just heightened even more, where I'm the only person of color in this program. So for me, it was reaching out to my friends back home, being like, for me, it's difficult to show vulnerability, and I think for a lot of people it is, because it's weakness. We're trying to always be strong. We always want to seem like we have our stuff together, and It's definitely in the world of social media where it's like, you're studying abroad, you should be posting a bunch of pictures and showing how great your life is, and my life must be perfect and amazing because I get to go abroad. But I mean, at the end of the day, this experience is holistic, and it's not always going to be on 10. It's not always going to be super low either, but it's important to be able to talk to somebody about it. So for me, that was talking to my friends. I don't know if you guys have heard of Finstas, but it's like you have your little Instagram where you follow only like your really, really close friends, or they'll also follow you with their Finsta accounts, Finsta for like fake Insta. And I post in there and I talked about my feelings, and a bunch of them said the kindest things to me, and I was so happy to just like hear their words, and everything they said was true, which is that it's just temporary. This feeling's temporary, and you're feeling uncomfortable, but feeling uncomfortable isn't a bad thing at all, because discomfort is the root of growth. I mean, if I'm always feeling comfortable, how can I be expecting myself to grow? So I definitely recognize everything they said was so true. They told me how much they loved me and cared about me. They're rooting for me, and it feels so good to remember that you have that system, even though you feel so alone. There are people rooting for you, and this goes to my next point, which is when I'm feeling this way, I remember that I'm feeling this type of discomfort, so someone in the future hopefully doesn't have to as much, or doesn't have to at all. I remember that I'm a part of a larger community that is rooting for me, and that's something of being in higher education as a person of color. We have to remember that we are doing this for a larger system, that we, after we get these degrees, become these professionals, we're going to incite something within our own communities, that we're going to bring those people up. We're normalizing what we are. Everything about us is important. We're important. We're a piece of a larger puzzle, you know? And it's so crucial to remember that, people are rooting for you, and that you're feeling this discomfort for a larger sum of people, and so many other people have felt this same discomfort along your side, even if they're not next to you. So those are all other things I think about when I'm trying to come out of this like sad place. And then yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to mention. Feeling discomfort causes growth. Remembering that you're loved, you're very loved. Don't be afraid to reach out to your loved ones, and don't be afraid to talk to the internet like I did. I feel like there's so many niches on the internet where you could come to, even if you don't have people in your life, maybe you don't feel comfortable talking to about whatever you're going through, you can still talk to somebody. Like, talk to me, talk to anybody. People will listen. I'm so thankful for the internet now, because we can connect to people instantly. Like, we don't have to think, oh, I don't have any friends who will understand anymore. You don't have to wonder if there's other people who feel the way you feel anymore. You can just instantly go and find them, and they're here on the internet. And yeah, I think that is a beautiful thing, and I'm so happy that like I said, we're in a time where we can talk about self-care, self-love. And another thing about self-care is that right after that video ended, I went to the store and I bought 3 ripe mangoes and a pint of non-dairy Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So that is necessary self-care. When I'm feeling down or sad, I'm gonna go eat my favorite foods, ice cream and mangoes. Are you kidding me? So yeah, just don't worry about it. When you're taking care of yourself, you put yourself first. It was way too much here. It was like 50 shekels for the Ben & Jerry's and mangoes, because Ben & Jerry's is like imported here or something. But I was gonna get my non-dairy dessert either way, because in that time and space, I knew that's what I needed, and it made me feel happy, and to remind myself that I'm worth it. Like, I didn't care that it was extra, because I'm actually worth it and I needed it in that moment. So recognize your own self-worth, root yourself on, find the communities that are also rooting for you, and acknowledge the ones that maybe you can't speak to, but they're also by your side. And I think all those things come together, recognizing things are temporary, life is forever changing, and that you will feel better in a few hours, or the next day, or the next week. It doesn't always happen maybe instantly or when you want it to, but remembering that discomfort you're feeling is going to make you stronger and stronger, and the next time it's just going to be easier to cope with, because you're going to be in more recognition of what a fleeting emotion it really is. So yeah, that is my follow-up video. I hope that you guys enjoyed and got something from this. I really wanted to put something positive out after putting that video out. I was so sad. I can't even watch it because I'm like, oh gosh, I look so sad even in the thumbnail. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you all again soon. Love you guys. Peace out.